My good people. Hey, we are back, manze.
We are back. That's how South Africans talk. You know, my undergrad and my second master's was in South Africa. So if you hear me, we're back.
We are back. We are the one who influenced Crazy Kena.
We are back.
Hey, man, it's pardon the interruption. By the way, pardon for your interruption. We are really sorry, but we are back to analyze our crooked government
and very sorry state of affairs.
Tuanzie
wapi?
Last time
mambo ni mengi.
Last time we ended the conversation with the nominations of our cabinet.
Yeah. Na hiyo ilikuwa ni first batch. It was the first 11.
First 11.
Yeah.
Ya Arsenal ilikuwa imetajwa. Juzo akatoa 7. And
tumefanya some recycling, and you know what guys were they were making fun on Twitter saying that we support recycling, but not this kind of recycling. We don't want to see the same people.
Now, you know, even the recycling was not the issue. There is someone whom I saw there and I was like, hey, si jamaa alikuwa na flow social media, mbona umrudishe hadi it was better ungerudisha Ababu na Mwapa.
Au alikuwa anapeleka girlfriends Paris.
Rio. Kuliko kutuonyesha amevaa belt ya you know, it was
millions. You see this watch. And guess what? Did you see Oscar Sudi back at Obina show? Flaunting again. Now, what's wrong with these people? They're so tone deaf. When people are saying every day that there is so much suffering, there's so much poverty, people's businesses are failing, people's businesses are having to be essentially like stopped, right? And then now you come and now flaunt some more.
But you know, the question, even me, what I'm wondering right now is, when you are nominated as the cabinet secretary, you had, let's say, a net worth of 430 million.
Right.
You are being renominated, then you tell us your net worth from 430 million, you are at around 512 million.
In 22 months.
In 22 months. Where did you get that?
Where the economy, all of us are suffering, but you guys seemingly, remember because our kwenu. You know, highly suspicious. And you know, the thing about that is that you imagine that somebody is employed full-time in the government.
Yeah.
So if you have a full-time job, where do you have time to be operating all these businesses that are making you millions and hundreds of millions of
maybe wakokaa Oscar Sudi wako na timba X, although tulivunja tukakunywa pombe.
Yeah. And then now you see, the thing is, I honestly feel like those are numbers that they just throw from nowhere.
But also I'm sure that is not the exact network.
Of course it's not. I feel like that is a number that is a lot lower than the number that actually is. Because
if someone can, basically, you are a leader before an audience of over 100,000 Kenyans, and then you say, instead of buying belt ya kala moja, just buy one belt at nearly 1 million. Then, Mr. President, we agreed and we said, we want new faces. As a matter of fact, I think nika inafaa turudi tuchukue mess.
That was like a middle finger to us, honestly. It was showing so much contempt for the movement.
And then I don't know what is wrong with him, because when wali failed to come back to the cabinet, someone failed to deliver to a nation as a cabinet secretary. How is he going to deliver to a nation as an ambassador?
Hizo ambassador positions, were they true?
Anyway, nilisikia Juma akisema maneno ya ambassador si ya kwake.
Hata hizi hiyo kazi. So it's fine. In fact, the rumor was that she was going to be sent to Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland.
And Switzerland is such an important country, right? In terms of diplomacy, international diplomacy. So Geneva is extremely crucial for our foreign policy. And I've been able to have the privilege of engaging in that space at the UN level in Geneva. That's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's actually not a joke. So it was so surprising to even hear the rumor. I'm just like, And then did you see how with the president saying that, bado mimi nitakuwa kwa serikali? We don't care, actually.
Basically, they'll still be in the government, either as side chicks to the government or something.
Ama wapatia matenders.
Yeah, tenders watapewa.
Things like that.
But Mimi, what I can advise someone like, let's say, this Aisha Juma, what I can advise her, if the president openly is willing to give you a position of an ambassador, that means he's willing to destroy you politically. because ukienda ambassador 2027 you can't run for NEC. Umeenda tu hivyo.
People forget you.
Meaning you are not of that worth to this man. Second, I don't think if she has that much influence here in Kilifi like before.
Yeah, when she was an MP.
Yeah, she should sit down, restructure herself, atengeneze foundation yake.
Actually, we are not interested. We want to drain the swamp.
Anyway,
we want to drain the swamp. If you've been involved in this government in one way or another,
just go.
Then just go home.
The other thing, I think.
Before you move on, back in the question of vetting, as they are giving us these outrageous numbers of their net worth, there was no follow-up, right?
Yeah.
You don't have KRA saying, yes, huyu Joho ambaye is worth 2.36 billion shillings has paid 200 and what or 300 million or whatever, 700 million in taxes. There would be evidence of that.
Let me just use an example of someone you really hate, but here he says the truth.
Who? Derrick.
Tet says.
No.
Tet says the rich people never pay taxes. That's true.
Why is Andrew Tate your reference point?
Because I think he's the only person who I've had.
I'm sure there are better references.
Okay. Also, Kiyosaki says that if you are rich, you'll never pay taxes.
Apparently so.
So, meaning if that is his net worth and a run economy.
Even Oparanya, for example, who has a pending graft case.
Sinasikia waliandika barua to parliament asipitishwe.
Listen. What I'm saying is that those institutions, you see, when we're saying we drain the swamp and we completely overhaul the system, it's the complete system. It is the executive, it is parliament, it is those independent offices that are not able to undertake their mandate as is outlined in the constitution. Because this week alone, we've seen so many other withdrawals. Last week, we also saw withdrawals of graft cases from the Director of Public Prosecutions. Is this a joke?
It's ile tulisoma kigogo.
Is this a joke, actually? Ay, apana.
Yeah,
which is why when people are saying Ruto must go, it is him and everything he stands for.
You know, basically, I can say the president is trying to play that game over. You really supported me. You are loyal. I don't want to break, because there were these rumors that akina Kuria said, wewe tu tuvute kazi, tutaanika yote yenye tuko nayo. So
Kuria si ameenda begging to Raila. See, he wants to join Azimio now, which is why
Azimio is already divided also.
Which is why this political class is the biggest problem.
And that's why I told you before we got to this set that I really think, to me, Raila messed this country by bringing multi-party. Okay, that's a bit,
you know, that's a strong statement to make.
Because
I feel like he got corrupted along the way, but his first mission, the earlier mission, was a genuine one. Because we couldn't stay under a dictator and an autocrat for how many more years? It was already 20 plus years, right? We needed multi-party democracy. Now,
and you have to give him to Nini.
And you have to give him his props, eh? Ametusumbua this time around, but you have to give that mzee his props, right? In terms of the fight for democracy, the fight for constitutional change, which is why it's so surprising now. And even from BBI, that was the first time I had a problem with Baba. Because I'm just like, implement, not amend. Why are you trying to amend the constitution? And you're trying to amend the constitution before even implementing the constitution fully. I see some mischief there. And then he comes again this year to tell us that again he wants to amend the constitution. So Baba started with a very noble cause.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
However, along the way,
he
has been corrupted by this political system, and now he has cemented himself as part of that political system.
Because
so his party is just to negotiate posts and to negotiate positions of power for themselves. They have no care in the world. About the people. Did you not see this recently when Toy Market went on fire? Right?
Toy Market.
Yes, went in flames. Yeah. He was the MP of Kibera for how long? What did he do for the people of Kibera? That she's now coming to tell people that, oh, I'm here shedding crocodile tears. Those are lies. You know, what has ODM done to ensure that there is oversight over the county government of Nairobi? Because that's why people were stoned. That is why Sakaja was being stoned. Because exactly a year ago, Toy Market also went up in flames, and they came with so many kinds of promises, right? To say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And a year later, right? So you're right, there is no opposition. The opposition is us. The movement is the opposition.
But when I check on this issue of Sakaja appearing being stoned, it's really simple. You know, African politicians and also PLO once attacked them on this and said, most of you people, you will see, there is this bridge Derrick has been posting. I'm very sure kuna MP wa hiyo place. Is it Baringo?
Or the one that has the...
Yeah. I'm sure there is an MP of this place.
I saw it.
I'm sure.
I saw it.
So this is now the scenario of Kenyan politicians.
Yeah.
Let's use an example of that bridge. That was the same thing with the toy market. There is a problem, and even it's here in Kilifi. Nilisikia fire extinguishers za Kilifi zinanga maji. Moto na wako anakuja kuambia, "Inya tuna maji."
No way.
Walai, I was given that story nikiwa huko Kiwandani that a neighbors, there is someone huko chini nyumba yake ilishika moto. Then watu wa fire extinguisher wanatoka kuna gari. Wanaenda kwa wanamwambia hatuna maji. So the scenario is problem iwapate, then mimi nitakuja kuapia sasa kama kiongozi tuta. Yeah. And I really it's congratulations to Toy people by the way for stoning Sakaja. I commend that because Kenyan politicians right now should be restructuring themselves. We are not living in Zizamoi zenye ungekuja tudanganya unajua.
Ati well, when is it going to happen? We need it to happen now.
Happen now.
And then now you see, crazy enough, after the toy market fire, then you have the fire in Mukuru. And also, the fire department came hours later. So there's a problem in the system. There's a problem in the system. So weze kutuambia juzi eti oh, you're going to solve the thing, and then a few days later Mukuru. Guys, watu wa Mukuru wameteseka, man. Watu wa Mukuru wameteseka from the Kware dam site, and then now fire. I mean, seriously. Mike
Sonko was responding to that issue on Obina's show.
And remember that even the Mukuru thing with all those mutilated bodies, right, and dismembered bodies, it was the Wananchi themselves who are retrieving the bodies.
And I think the government has not said something substantial. And I really wonder why did even reappoint Kithure Kindiki?
Why?
Yet he can't explain why that happened. He can't explain, okay, ni sawa, police ndio hawakuwa. What investigation have you guys done?
Yeah.
You bring to us someone claiming he killed them. Then later to discover tena mse mwenye nikajielewi.
Of course, alisema he was tortured the next day in court. He was tortured to give that confession. I mean, even that display of the evidence, it was a joke.
You know, one thing the government should know right now is I think we are out of the days zenye unge threaten wananchi, unge abduct people, then people shut down. They're just like,
you're just making us angrier. And funny enough, when you're mentioning Professor Kindiki, remember during his vetting, he was asked about the abductions and whatnot. And then he said, oh, the police, it's like the police, they determine what they are going to do. He has nothing to do with the police. Completely
and he's the cabinet secretary for interior.
Exactly, and he's the one who gave that order. And then what was also infuriating is that Aden Duale also during his vetting said that he did not deploy KDF. Can you imagine? There's a whole Gazette notice. What do you mean you didn't deploy KDF? Are you joking right now?
I think it's the same Aden Duale is saying. I said today morning at TV47 that he's saying the difference between corruption and Al-Shabaab is we can spot Al-Shabaab, but the thing taking down Kenya is corruption. Now you are in that system. Aden Duale, tell us what are you doing to correct corruption? Number one, you should be telling us why are you sending police to Haiti wenye washashindwa kuhandle maandamano ya Kenya, wanaenda kupambana na
hata kabla maandamano. There's cattle rustling, there's how many security issues do we have?
Then ati mnaweka jeshi ipambane na wananchi when police are going to fight. You know, this entire government is
you know what they're doing, as you said, they're it's old tactics, right? It's the misinformation, it's the propaganda, it's the threats, it's the intimidation, it's the illegal arrests, it is arbitrary arrests, it is abductions, daylight. Even today, somebody was abducted in broad daylight on Kiambu Road. Those Subaru boys are still at it. In a Subaru with some guns, plain clothes.
With the masks.
Today, right? So what Ruto has basically told us is that I don't care about you guys. I don't care about what you say. I don't care about what you think. I will kill your children. I will kill as many as I can.
As long as I'm in power.
He has refused completely to budge. And then now his counter strategy also was to go campaigning. Umeona?
Yeah.
Anaenda kufungua tap. Anaenda So yes, what we were talking about is those strategies, the campaign, right?
Yeah.
Alikuja kufungua in Watamu, he came to ground break a market.
Old Ferry alifanya nini?
Alikuwa Old Ferry?
He was to go to Old Ferry, I don't know to launch what.
Ningesikia hiyo.
But
I think he was in Watamu. I didn't see. Neither day. I think the only people who knew he was coming were the people who were being mobilized.
But actually, during his ambiguous runs in this country, is where also
ambiguous runs.
Yeah, is when I also learned that this man never values his people. How comes someone who was a kingpin in Coast Region ati ako chini ya gari? I was like, Aisha Juma, kwani uoni che unaonyeshwa na wewe tu pia you are blind? Like,
she's desperate. She was not planning on losing that gig. She needed that gig. So now that she's out, and I can only imagine if you see yourself out but the rest of your colleagues are back in.
Yeah, it really hurts. Yeah, it really hurts. And literally there is nothing. Alikuwa booed in a certain burial.
Yes, people booed her. And that's goes when you don't manufacture crowds, then you get to see the real situation. In a burial, watu wameenda burial. Unakumbuka kama ile siku John Kerry akiwa booed kwa burial? Mpaka hata hajarudi kwa burials or funerals because he was booed heavily. It's these crowds that they are manufacturing, that they are paying. You know, they're saying that the movement is funded. They're the ones who are funding these goons. They're the ones who are funding these crowds. But you see, even if you fund a crowd, that's not going to change the sentiment of millions and millions of Kenyans who are craving for change, who are praying for change, who are protesting for change, who are litigating for change, who are doing civic education for change. Everything that we want now as Kenyans is change. We want a different country. We want a country that works and works for everybody and not just a select few.
Now, there is sijui kani nominated senators, ama sijui ni kina nani, but they are passing some bills in parliament.
Oh God.
Kuna hii yenye umechomea watu, umeharibia mtu CV Twitter huko kidogo.
And by the way, I've been feeling so angry about this bill for a while. Lakini leo nimeamka asubuhi kwa nini sijui nini imeniingia. Nikasema, this one, let me tell the people.
Hint the bill kidogo.
What is happening? It's called the Nuts and Crops Development Bill.
Nuts, njugu,
Nuts and Crops Development. Korosho, nazi, sunflower. Paka sunflower seeds maze. Wezi hata ku
na kuna time tulikuwa na hii bill. So kulikuwa na hii bill ya kuinherit land.
Yes.
That if your father gives you land, you start paying taxes.
Yes, that is the one that they wanted to introduce in the finance bill.
Sasa
they wanted to introduce more levies on ancestral land, which is freehold land.
Then sasa hiyo ameleta. Now, you know, I can just say politicians who are in that government from coast, they are all done.
Well, it's not just the coast ones, it's all of them. Remember that this is the same pattern of bills that we are seeing. We first saw the agricultural bill. Yeah? Wanting to introduce, again, more levies and taxes on agricultural products. And then also that you have to be registered to conduct agriculture and have a degree from a recognized university.
For you to become a farmer in Kenya.
Watu wako hapa in the village, just you have your small kitchen garden, your fire, yet now you have to be registered with the government to do that. They want to have control over our food. This is about food sovereignty and food security. And this is a an agenda of global capitalists. This is IMF, this is World Bank, this is Bill Gates, because they want to have a control of our entire food supply. Remember, there was also another bill on livestock. Yeah? Hata kama uko na kuku nyumbani, uko na goat nyumbani, uko na ng'ombe kwa nyumba, they want to tax you an additional amount, and also you have to register and do all manner of things. So they want to be able to control everything. And so the nut and oil crops development bill has very little to do with development and more to do with cronyism, because they are saying for you to either grow or you're operating a nursery or you are processing that,
yani ile kuchoma njugu nyumbani uko na receipt.
And what sisi tunatengeza coconut oil traditionally, even that one you have to be licensed. So even
then sasa hii pesa yote inafanya nini na kuna kabridge kama washinda kujenga?
You know, this is the problem, is that we have to be very vigilant, because they want to take over our food supply. They want to have control over our food. And if you have control over our food, and then again with those IMF policies and neo-colonialism, those are the deals that they're striking to also get access to our water supply. There are wars happening in Ukraine right now because of water. So they want to take control of our food, our livestock, our water, our nuts, our oils. Seriously? So when we're fighting this government, we are fighting the puppetry of the West. Even the other day, there was a senator who came from the US, a delegation from the US, who went to State House. Why are you really cozying up with these people? And I think that's why he wants to stay onto power, because of all the deals that he signed with these neo-colonialists, including from the last time we were here.
Yeah.
Tuliongea kuhusu Adani Holdings.
Yeah, Adani na airport.
Na airport. You understand? Because this is how he governs. It's just deals. It's not about the welfare and well-being of Kenyans, and not just us right now. It's generations and generations and generations to come. Imagine the Seeds and Plant Varieties Act is right now in court being challenged, because that act made it illegal for us to share indigenous seeds.
Hey.
Wanataka walete GMO na hiyo GMO ndio ikue kwa nini, and obviously they want control
na tunajua,
over who supplies those GMO seeds.
Na tena tunajua nani ndio founder wa GMO.
And alafu hizo GMO seeds, they don't regenerate, so that's why you have a constant supply of people having to come and buy seeds from you. You want to monopolize the seed industry. How can it be illegal? How many of our ancestors kwa miezi na miezi na miaka na miaka, enzi na enzi, they were able to sustain their livelihoods and to sustain food production based on traditional methods of growing food, including our indigenous seeds. Now you are making the seeds, sharing of the seeds, illegal, and if you share them, there's a criminal penalty.
There is this movie I watched. It was acted by an Americans. They are Americans. They were controlling war in Mali. Then they installed a president in Mali.
Puppet.
Yeah, puppet president. Then at the end, like sasa movie imeisha huko mwisho, there is a sitting. Then like the guys know the president, but he is like there are people who run now the government when he puppet ya watu. So this guy says that we faced challenges in our acquisition of some things in Mali, but our brother from Australia has gotten the rights, the mining rights of Mali. Then I sat down and I listened to after watching that movie, and I checked how African leaders behave, like a majority of them. Like this is just the same thing.
It's the same thing
that they are acting. Wanatuonyesha but sasa
this is what colonialism looks like. This is neo-colonialism, and this is what we are fighting. Do you think that these people would roll the red carpet for Ruto if they're not getting something in return?
Niliangalia ile reception yake White House. I was like, wait.
All those dinners, all those lavish, the first president African president in 16 years to come to the White House. You think that is because actually they particularly like
there is something he gave them?
Something, and those are the negotiations of the deals that are happening in New York, right? Those are the negotiations and the deals that are happening in Washington DC. So this is what we are fighting. We are fighting this entire regime and what it stands for. Because if your primary duty and obligation is not to have a Kenyan's back, that you put Kenya first, that's what we want. We want leaders that put Kenya first, that put us first, that will consider our priorities and our needs before they consider the priorities and needs of people who are in the top 1%, the billionaires of this world. The billionaires in dollars. I mean, seriously? Ukijiuliza kwanza watu walikuwa nauliza sasa kama wewe ni billionaire unataka kazi ya nini nini ya serikali kwa nini?
They say money is never enough.
Which brings us to the whole mining situation, because we're also having serious dialogue and conversations about the mining sector, because we have so much wealth, we have so many minerals, including in Kilifi, we have so many minerals, including in Kwale and so many other places in this country. Why are we poor?
You know,
why are we poor? And even those licenses, mining licenses, are being given to a select few.
To certain people.
Wao ukiapply for mining license
hautapewa.
Now imagine, use that same analogy for nuts and oils. Who is going to be given the
kuna wenye watapewa, kuna wenye watapewa.
Exactly.
Na hapo ndio something like even reviving. Now, you know, if you just think this thing around,
they just use us for labor. They don't see us as human beings.
And that's why they are, and also that's why they are really pressuring that we need to export Kenyans to work abroad.
Exactly.
There is that nini where punguza watu huku, then you can now govern them. Exactly. The idea of was it Bill Gates, like if we reduce the population of Africans, we can control Africa.
This is just a dictator. And mind you, and this is not a conspiracy, if you see the disdain that they have for the education sector, right?
Yeah.
Even JC teachers today have said they're going to go back to the streets, they're going to protest, because the government has reneged on their back to work formula, their deal, the money that was supposed to be given, right? So you've sabotaged the primary school education, you've sabotaged secondary school education, you've sabotaged university.
Now university is worse.
Huh? How many people are dropping out of university because they can't access help loans on a simple thing because they don't have an ID? This guy is a con man, right? He wants, because right now I'm on Gen Z, kumbe nyinyi ndo mmepatiwa free education na Kibaki. Now we are seeing the fruits of that labor, right? And you see more and more people are educated, more and more people have access to information, and that's the thing that drives them crazy, because they want us to be a dormant, a docile society where we don't ask questions, we don't question anything. All they want us is for cheap labor, right? Yeah, they want to cripple labor unions. All they want to do is cheap labor and votes. Hawataki kutusikia.
Ile wakati wa kura wakuja wakudanganye.
Hawataki kutusikia sijui maoni yetu sijui what. These members of parliament are thinking that the constitution is an inconvenience. If you see that the Court of Appeal nullified the Finance Act of 2023, the Court of Appeal came in strong last week. Right? Oh, and why was it nullified? Because of lack of public participation. They didn't follow the process. Same thing as with this finance bill. This is how they are governing. We cannot trust this guy to lead us into the next phase of our future. And this is the same way that he's going to be governing, by carrots, dangling carrots for those people who he thinks have power, right? And then sticks for the rest of us in the form of abductions and killings.
All this has been happening in Kenya in a fraction of, let's say, less than 2 years since the Kenya whatever government took office.
23 months.
And comparing Kenya and Tanzania, right now Tanzania is on the verge of overtaking Kenya when it comes to development. And I was even asking someone on Instagram, what does Samia Suluhu know about leadership that this doctor of ours doesn't know?
I mean, Samia, I don't know about that. I mean, I'd have to research on that. But I saw recently that they are just giving big parcels of land to randoms, to Americans. Even Idris Elba got a big parcel of land.
Yeah, to build something, I don't know what.
I mean, this just screams neocolonialism. Because ask yourself, in the same way the mining of titanium in Kwale, why is it that the locals are not being empowered to do that you're asking other people to do when you're giving them our land? Land is the main factor of production.
That's what they did with gold in Kakamega.
That land is the biggest factor of production. So when you willy-nilly give our land, in fact, even giving land to that Indian guy who was saying the president should rule for 100 years, he was now given 500 acres in Taita Taveta.
You know, that just brings us to something that is happening in Congo, whereby you need to put a nation into war for you to conquer its mineral. That's what the US is doing.
That's what they're doing.
Because to discover mafuta, Turkana, and even King Kaka said, mafuta itoke Turkana, iende, irudi, ndio tuuziwe na inatoka Turkana.
Ni kama coffee,
tea.
You see, when we're saying we need an overhaul, because these foreign powers want to keep us in poverty, and then now what they exchange is grants. We don't want your grants.
Tumepea serikali ya Kenya grant kiasi fulani.
We don't want your grants. We don't want your grants. We want the people to be empowered. We have the skills, we have the knowledge, we have the expertise, right? We have the land, which is why they were trying to take away the land. And when Alice Wahome was asked again during the vetting process, she was doing this dodging at Parliament. But you're the one who introduced the bill to Parliament. You're the one who introduced the bill to Parliament, and basically, if you didn't pay those levies to government, then they will have every right to come and take your land.
Yeah. These are now led tulikuwa na saba kitambo.
Saba.
In 24 hours to come, kuna nane.
Inshallah.
Tuambie about nane kidogo.
Unakumbuka the last episode what I said?
Yeah.
Protests are the language of the unheard.
Yeah.
And we are unheard. Not even unheard, we are unheard, abused, infantilized, you know.
Yeah.
So we are back on the streets. Hatuna otherwise.
Na tutashinda hapo.
Mpaka watusikie, because we can't let go now. We have to liberate our country from this corruption, from this tyranny. We have to liberate our country. We have to, and it depends on us. Because maybe our parents cannot go to the streets, but they are supporting us. Maybe the younger generation cannot go to the streets, but they are supporting us. We have to communicate very clearly that we will not stand for injustice until now, if for nothing else, just like they did in Bangladesh, right? Because they started with protesting the quota system. And then, because of the amount of force, excessive force that was used by law enforcement, people died, people lost their lives.
Nearly 285,
or almost
300 people.
And now they went to the protests, now all of them, to the streets, to complain about the lack of justice for the people who had died. And that's how the movement just grew so much bigger. We cannot relent until they tell us who killed Rex, who killed David Chege, who killed all these people.
You know, I was conversing with a certain guy pale Kiboni, and I was telling him the difference between the millennials, hizo enzi za baba and us, is those time mungetishiwa mnyamaze. But even sisi in high school, ungekosea mtu mmoja, then tunaenda na class nasema, ai we, kwani tunakaa hapa na nani alifanyiwa? Hii ni nani. So I think the government should by right now be understanding that the Gen Z people are not people whom you'll threaten, and millennials will not threaten them, especially right now that tuwe watu 10 then
you've given us no choice.
Sasa now you have given us more reason to come because uliwa nani, we want justice for
you can, yes, and then remember that this man promised us under my administration there will be no more extrajudicial killings,
no more abductions,
no more of these threats and whatnot. Sisi tulipitia mengi tukiwa under Uhuru, so you can't come in this short period of time just completely pull a 180 a 360 on what you promised us on live TV repeatedly. So now you're gaslighting us, and this is the thing, at every single day we're just being gaslighting, and he thinks that there's going to be a different outcome other than more anger,
if the former AG
and more resentment towards his administration.
The former AG said the president is not advisable. So if you're not advisable, I think because I also see media being biased. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's become so biased.
The Communication Authority threatened them, and I wish they had more balls, bigger balls.
Because
sorry for saying that, but I just wish the media had more courage to stand up for what is right, especially when their own people the media,
are short,
were being targeted. And when the media people were being targeted, who was the one who was standing up for them? It was us, right?
Yeah.
It was us.
When they leaked the numbers of Akina Linus Kaikai, yeah. Now I'm really like, mbona your people, like, why kill the informer? I'm just an informer. Why should you come threaten me because I sat down to make a conversation on the impunities that you are carrying out on the people who elected you? You know, there is this girl who said journalism is all about printing what someone else does not want printed. But now in Kenya right now it's different. It's printing what someone else wants printed for his or her own benefit.
Exactly.
Muhammad Ali pia hivyo ndivyo alipotea.
Na uliona vile alikuwa boot Mombasa?
But when I was coming up those days,
alikuwa na kiburi nyingine.
When I was coming up mazee nilikuwa napenda jicho pevu. I would look like
exactly. Now you can imagine that guy and then now totally completely two different people. Meanwhile John Alanam is here standing for the right thing, justice nini, and then he's gone completely opposite. Anatukana watu, he has so much madharao na hiyo kiburi yako nayo. See, amekuwa good in front of the president. I was very happy about that.
Then there is a good friend of mine, Abdikadir. I don't know where he is right now. I'm really asking. I don't know where that guy is. He questioned the president in US and seemingly didn't seem to.
Make on administrative leave.
Now that's why I usually say as a
which
person.
Which is why it doesn't make sense for the media not to be standing up for media freedoms in a time like this. Nakwambia wale watu wako na uoga na usaliti kwa hii Kenya hii, we would have been Bangladesh a month ago. Because there's a lot to reflect. What is it about these people who've been captured by the state?
And where are they?
You know, Senator Onyonka today posted, the worst part of a society manipulated by politics is to see the poor defending the rich who are responsible for their poverty.
Paulo Coelho. There is a clip Crazy Kena made. He's a policeman, karudi kwa nyumba, he has no gas, he has no food. And then tajiri anampigia simu anakula. Kesho tena kutoma
na kuna watermelon
na kila kitu. Huyu sijui alikula nini
na nyama.
Alafu analala anafungua tear gas ndio inafukuza umbu.
That thing was hilarious.
But
alafu hata na blanket
niyo shield ya maskari ndio. And then I'm like, Kenyans are policemen even relating to this because I really.
Alafu wameambiwa watakuwa increase salaries. Alafu walikuwa increased how much?
Sijui
1,200.
You hadi toshi wiki moja shopping.
Are you seeing like you police who are being told to maim us, to kill us, right, to tear gas us, mnaongezewa pesa?
And that's why mnarudishiwa Kindiki because he's doing the bidding very well.
Yeah. And then now these goons were being paid measly amounts of money. Like, I don't understand how you would work against your own self-interest in this way. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You know,
it doesn't make sense to me. Like, what do you stand for? Do you have any morals?
My question is
ethics.
Why is the former president so silent?
Anaye akae huko. Tataki kumsikia. Yeye ndo alituletea more IMF loans hapa.
He should advise his
and then asking us then complaining. Remember when Kanzedena was on TV saying, "Oh, we haven't been given retirement benefits." You think we care about your retirement benefits in an economy like this, where your employer is a billionaire in dollars? Your pesa imeibiwa kutoka enzi ya independence. Then you want us to pay you retirement benefits. Kwanza hizo retirement benefits tuzitoe zote.
Tujenge nchi.
The court has declared, by there I was very happy that the court declared that all these retirement benefits that the Council of Governors wanted to introduce imekuwa held unconstitutional. Sasa tunaishi kwa courts na tunaishi kwa streets. Itabidi, and then you see how upset they were about what the judgments that are coming from court.
Yeah.
That now the judiciary budget has been reduced by how much? 2 billion.
2 billion.
But yet they have reinstated the office of the first lady and the office of the second lady.
Then I heard this first lady speaking the other day of revival, and so I'm like, si mfungulie tu huyu kanisa basi. Sasa juu what are revivals for?
They are wasting our time. People they are paid intercessors in State House. I don't know who they are praying for. Definitely it's not for the nation. Definitely it's not for those families who have people whose loved ones were killed. And in fact, even right now, the people who are still injured, guys have been amputated, have gotten their legs amputated,
and they have received
no help. Yani even ndo amekuwa NHIF, hakuna usaidizi wamepata.
Kwanza NHIF inabadilisha sijui inaitwa watu gani sasa.
So this is the thing, the entire system has failed, and we need a reboot. Traore style, Burkina Faso style. We need a complete reboot. Kwanza yeye alifukuza hawa Americans the military base, aleba tokeni hapa, toka. By the way, there was a time where these army guys for the US were here visiting our governor. Na mimi nilika comment, why are you fraternizing with these people? Do they want to do a military base in Kilifi? Why have they come here for a visit? Wanataka nini huku? Anytime I see US, I just see red flags.
United States of
the divided states of America. That is not a counter to democracy. What democracy? What democracy? When you're funding a genocide, you continuously give Israel arms. And then even the Kenyan government has taken a position to support Israel. We hate this government. It stands for nothing. And that's why, if they are happy to support Israel for committing its genocide, even when the ICJ has said what you are doing is wrong, this illegal occupation of the Palestinian land is wrong. You see?
Yeah.
Huyu mtu hako na morals alafu anatudanganya hapa ati anapenda Mungu. Apendi Mungu.
I also nilisikia story ya Haiti, it's also connected to US directing Kenya. Like
US,
kwani bado tunakuwa colonized?
Even wonder.
So we came out of British colonial rule, so right now we are in the American colonial rule.
You see, Rwanda and Haiti and the US and France are to blame for what is happening in Haiti today. Historically, they are to blame. And then even the immorality of that, as a black nation, to go and invade another black nation that was the first to gain independence in this world.
Yeah.
Shame on you, Ruto. Shame on you, Kindiki. Shame on you, Korir. Shame on you all. Ni pesa gani umelipa so that you can
sacrifice the sons of Kenya? Because for me, what I am feeling pity about is those policemen. You're going to face someone who was born fighting. He was born in that war. Wewe hapa Kenya, maandamano ya Pwani University unatoroka ya wanafunzi kidogo, maandamano ya UN wanafunzi, si ni nchi, ni wanafunzi niliona nikiwa when my sister was in form 4, was it form 4, form 3, KV girls wali overpower policemen. Then these policemen ndio mnatuma kwenda kupigana na guns in Haiti. What are you telling us? That is someone's son,
and it's all because of money. Literally.
That's what I was saying. The reason as to why I personally say what Trump is saying that the war in Ukraine should end is really good is because kuna watu wamekaa tu mahali hizi vita ziendelee, tuunde pesa. Anzisha vita huko, we process weapons.
The military industrial complex.
Yeah. That's why wakisema Trump akisema staki hizi vita ziendelee.
The first time I'm just like, is Trump really an option? But then Kamala Harris is huko supporting Israel.
Mimi I settled, there is a book that was written today.
She's claiming she's black. American
black?
Plot. She says she's black now. She's black.
If Barack Obama killed the person,
she identifies as black.
May I usually say if Barack Obama was the one who killed Muammar Gaddafi, who had the best idea to revolutionize Africa, I cannot even listen to Kamala Harris.
You cannot. All of these guys are frauds.
They're just there for their own interest.
The divided states of America.
Sasa tumalize hii kitu by the way.
Sasa imefika masaa nyumbani.
Ni masaa nyumbani. Sasa
nikasonge sima.
By the way, unajua Tuesday ni placard kwa street. Mask na maji.
Nisha katakata mboga. I'm just waiting to go.
Mboga gani?
Spinach. Lakini hakuna nyama, economy ni mbaya. Nyama ni twice a week.
Nyama. Lakini mayai inaweza kuwa daily. Sasa ni ile wanaume tukulangi mayai.
Kwa nini? Protein.
No, too much eggs. Has a certain effect on men.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll research that later. Camera.
Wow. So, inafaa turudi tucharaze story ya IMF. You know, Kenyans need to understand, or Africans need to understand the role International Monetary Fund is playing in their governments. Like, you really need to know, like msionange tu tumechukua loan World Bank ati Kenya imepewa loan ya milioni fulani mnafurahia. No.
Na unakumbuka yule senator ambaye nimesema amesponsor hiyo nuts and oils development bill?
Yeah.
Hebu ona hii picha.
Kwa logo ya IMF.
Yuko kwa IMF anaenda huko.
So ametoa huko motion ameleta bunge.
And you know when she posted this on the 25th of June saying, "Hey Kenyans, what's happening in my country?" and she posted this picture of IMF. On the 25th of June. Isn't that disdain?
Yeah, dining with the enemy.
Is that some disrespect to us?
Tutasema vile tunasema Twitter, utasalimiwa mheshimiwa.
tutaenda kwa kumsalimia tuambie ni kwa nini ameintroduce hiyo bill. Na ameintroduce kwa niaba ya nani? Because it's definitely not as guys of Pwani who have coconut
trees everywhere. Korosho iko kila mahali. That's why I told you kule mwanzo that this bill will really impact the coastal region because they have the largest seeds, the largest, like
Absolutely.
I even don't know.
I thought we should be having a different conversation about oils and nuts, right?
Yeah.
Like how do we empower farmers? How do we ensure that they have good seeds? How do we ensure that they have industry, right? That there are factories to produce their goods.
And actually
not that this thing you want to tell us that you want to create monopolies here. As if so Kenyans, good meaning Kenyans, patriotic Kenyans, wazalendo. You know what we have to do.
Mimi ni mzalendo, unaona?
Exactly.
Yako ulitupa shida yako.
I put it in a safe place alafu sijui lienda happy. So you know what we need to do, eh? Our call to action is 1. 8/8/2024. By the way, that date, 8/8/8, has very significant spiritual meaning.
So you go to church?
Spiritual meaning. 8/8/8. 8/8/8. So that day is a very special day for us. That is the day that we are going to go into our second liberation. So we know what we have to do. Show up. Watu wa Nairobi, tokeni. Kila mtu atoke na mwenzake. Mkuje na kirende. From your household, from your neighborhood. You have to show up in the streets. Right?
Yeah.
And if you're unable to show up in the streets, engage online. Offline, online, lazima tuungane pamoja. We have to save this country from tyranny. We have to save this country from these corrupt people. Yes, we have to ensure our own freedom. And we cannot do it if we remain passive. The time is now.
Wow. Na watu wangu wa Nairobi tupatane NANE NANE. Tutakuwa pale. Tutakuwa tumevaa t-shirt na gas mask. Mimi nipige risasi, sina shida serikali. I'll do the work of a journalist and just bring out the information as it is until you listen to the voices of the people because I am the African journalist. You can't kill me because it's only God who decides when I'll die. My name is Mwavali, Derrick.
Sofia, Rajab.
Till we meet again, have yourselves a lovely week.